There it is, 2000. A milestone moment for a Pittsburgh icon.
Malkin dusts it off. Right in front. Another chance. Backhand score! It's Brian Rust with the goal. Rarefied air to Hall of Fame career. 1,200 points for Evgeny Malkin.
2nd and 9. Pickett lines up a deep ball. Separation. Touchdown. George Pickens.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio, 5100 West Library Avenue, the municipal building, police station right across from us. You know, all the other stuff here. We got some people watching us early. Teresa Mariano, hello. Ann Harder, hello. Ryan Thomas, my young friend from a few years ago. I worked at Walmart with him. Ann Harder, hi, Sportsline.
Let me guess, you were a greeter.
No.
That's funny.
No, that's not him. That's not him.
pretty good.
Hold it. This is Ryan Thomas that used to be on the cameras. You remember Ryan.
Okay,
He's in Brazil.
Oh, good for him.
That's our Brazilian friend
Nice.
who rides a motorcycle.
Beautiful women over there.
Okay.
He's has a woman down there, buddy.
Oh,
This is a family show.
He brought
Sorry.
sand to the beach?
No.
Don't
He
get it.
said, hey guys, except for Smoking Jim, who doesn't know who I am. All right. We got a lot of sports and other things to talk about.
My goodness.
Sorry about this stuff, but thanks all of you for watching us on Comcast 21, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way in greater Pittsburgh area, from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all the points in between in the greater Pittsburgh area. Thanks to all of you watching us on Facebook Live. Just shouted out to a few of them. Ralph Williams is there.
That's
Hello,
my
Ralph.
man.
Yeah, he is always, buddy. Thank you. We know you do a show. He stole my co-host and did a show an hour before mine. Glad I got that out. Thanks again for watching us on Facebook Live, and we appreciate the interactions. We're holding steady at over 7,000 likes, so appreciate that in 2024. You know we have the Pittsburgh Sportsline YouTube. What's the latest number? Was it 166?
Yeah, around there.
All right. Well, he doesn't know, but we're at 166 when we were
We'll have to
last
check
week.
the analytics.
Yeah, we'll check those analytics later.
You have two phones and you couldn't find the number. You have two. You holding those up for?
Well, all right, we got to get down to some serious stuff. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. We appreciate all of you watching us for over 12 plus years. Have 900 some shows all on YouTube. You can binge watch all the shows for a couple months, all right, including Smoking Jim. It'll take that long at least. Smoking Jim Frazier, Chip Painters every other week. He's back this week, and if he's not talking Pirates, he doesn't know who we got. We got Nick Callis here, and we're going to do our promos and different things you can donate and help save somebody with a kidney or two. So please watch that right now. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org. Zhang Taekwondo just opened a new location in the South Hills, along with its location in Wexford and its inclusion in the curriculum of Provident Charter School in Troy Hill. Zhang uses Taekwondo to teach its students confidence and self-discipline through physical fitness. Zhang is offering a 4-week special. You get a uniform and lessons for $30. If you mention the Talking Machine, Smokin' Jim, or VIP Nick, they'll give you a further discount. For more information, go to zhangtkd.com or call 724-934-9264. All right, thanks for watching all our promos. We've got James Pettit watching. Ralph Williams said hello, guys. We already said hello to you, Ralph. Kevin Price is watching. Chuck McElroy, nutting, spending dollars, avoiding arbitration with 2 stars. And you're stealing our thunder, Chief, and signing Chapman for $10 million. I am shocked. Paul Coffey's watching. Joe Board from Youngstown, Ohio, from Board Boxing's watching. Thank you. Peggy Rohde's watching. I'll beat you to it. Say hi to Nick and Rochester for me, all right? And we got your grandson Marco in there. And Ann, we got your grandson in there. Also, him and Marco are directing the show. So we're ready to move on. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
There you go.
You got to see Levine. I tell you what, man, my beloved Penguins went 2 days early to Las Vegas.
Hold
and
it.
they lost 4 out of 5. And
Hold
Al
it.
Levine, the talking machine, they got their batteries recharged and their clocks cleaned at the same
Oh, that
time.
we got to Nick. I got to put the disclaimer on.
Sure.
That first of all, he's negative Ned with Pirates and Penguins.
I love my
He hardly talks negative about the Steelers except for Tomlin. So whatever he says, the disclaimer are his own opinions, not Bethel Park, not BPTV, not any of us. I put all of us together, and it doesn't make much sense. The only Penguin he really likes is Jaromir Jagr.
Yes.
And he loves, I can't even pronounce the guy's name, that he likes him, thinks he's the greatest.
Ovechkin. Ovi.
And he hasn't been playing like Ovi lately, so he has no credibility on what he's saying. So
Well, here's some credibility here.
I knew you'd come back strong. Thank you.
2024
Breaking news.
is the year of the white athlete. Great white athlete.
What
TJ
year?
Watt,
What year are we in?
2024.
Just checking.
TJ Watt's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Player.
Defensive Player of the Year. George Kittle, McCaffrey, and Brock Purdy going to be Super Bowl champions. And if I'm Buffalo, breaking news, I was getting ready to tell Johnny before the show, but I wanted to save it here. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, and I hate coaches to get fired, Tony Dungy got fired in Tampa Bay and worked out with Gruden. I would hire Bill Belichick because he's the only coach that can consistently beat Patty Mahomes.
You know, another disclaimer. Anybody that follows sports like Smoking Jim and all of us knows he never goes by Patty. He never goes by Pat. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes
He's
sometimes.
a half a billionaire, and Smoking Jim
I love it.
is nothing but disrespectful of the almighty dollar. Because pull out $1. Can you show me $1? He ain't got none. See you later.
Here's the last one, and this is for, especially for Nick. You don't have to look it up.
What about us?
Just take it to your show. You'll be a genius. What happened in 1966? Can anybody tell me?
Roberto Clemente won the MVP award.
I think
You
the
can tell
Dodgers
me.
won the World Series that year.
Did they?
I was 10 years old.
Here's something that's even better.
I started playing baseball.
NAIA national champions, undefeated Waynesburg College, sent 4 guys to the NFL off that team, and the best guy transferred from Waynesburg to IUP, played basketball and football, got drafted by 1970 by the Pittsburgh Steelers. His name is Dave Smith. Everybody knows he's famous because he went 80 yards on Monday Night Football and spiked it on the 5. He was the Dapper Dan Man of the Year that year. He was outstanding. He looked like he was going to be the next great receiver. Steelers wasn't good in 71. They asked him at the Dapper Dan banquet, if you could go to sleep tonight and wake up, what would you want? I would want to be no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. Next day, Chuck Noll sent him to Houston. His career went down, and the Steelers became a dynasty. There's a little something for you, Waynesburg. Dave Smith, he was a black wide receiver. 4 guys off that Waynesburg 66 team went to the NFL and played good ball.
Didn't you just say it was the year of the white athlete, though? And you're mentioning.
Well, we
Wait,
have
wait,
to
wait,
just.
were any of them white cornerbacks?
Well, I'm gonna
You don't have to check.
wait. I'm at a quandary here.
I don't know the
You can
answer.
look up the word quandary. All right. Smoking Jim, I got to disclaim everything he said
Undefeated.
because he started. This is the year of the white player, 2024, and then if you followed what he said, I'm not being critical. I just heard it. Then he goes 1966. This is exclusive for Nick. Then he threw Waynesburg in.
Yes.
Then he threw
Yes.
IUP.
Yes.
Then he threw the Steelers,
Yeah.
Dapper Dan.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned that he was a black guy. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but he's a little darker complected. So I consider him my black BFF friend. And I got to disclaim myself on that because I'm not racist, and neither's Smoking Jim. We're going to move on with that nonsense. Chip Hayner, I hope you can bring some stability back to our conversation.
I'll bring some stability.
What's on your mind?
I might bring some stability, a little bit of ridiculous nonsense.
Well, we'll take that.
Maybe a little from column A, a little from column B.
Whoa.
But Jim brought up the first one. You cannot let this go by without recognizing the supreme talent it took to do this. But Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang scored a goal for the Arizona Coyotes last night into their own net. So the
well, they got a
Penguins,
point. Each of them got a point.
I'm gonna. This is all gonna get tied up by the time I finish. So
Hold it. We follow Smoking Jim.
Okay,
You're
so,
a little bit better
here
right
in Pittsburgh, we're spoiled sports fans. Okay, and basically it's win or you're criticized. Okay, so I've spent the last 5-6 weeks listening to everybody lambasting everything about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Mike Tomlin, his coaching staff, and whether or not he should have a job. And then, of course, in about 3 weeks, Pirate players are going to show up at spring training, and it's going to start all over. Chief, I want you to listen to this, buddy. I love you like a brother, okay? But complaining about the amount of money that Bob Nutting spends on January 23rd makes absolutely no sense. And if you don't believe that the amount of money you spend has anything to do with success, ask the Mets and the Padres how that worked out for them last year.
Whoa.
Number 3, why are we not criticizing the Pittsburgh Penguins and Mike Sullivan? I get it, Kyle Dubas, first year. Okay, he's getting a bit of a pass. He's a new GM. Hextall destroyed the team. But the big move that he made was Erik Karlsson, correct?
Yeah.
Here's a guy that won the Norris Trophy last year and scored 100 points.
Yeah.
So we got a high-scoring defenseman who's going to bolster the Penguins' offense. Well, after 43 games, he's got 34 points. Doesn't look like he's as big as a catch as we may have thought. The only people producing for the Penguins, Sid Crosby, 27 goals. Jake Gensel, 20 goals. Next one down on the list is Evgeny Malkin with 15 goals. There's not another player on the team that has double digits in goals for the season so far.
Exactly.
Maybe Mike Rust, I think he may have 11.
Well,
I'd
been
have
hurt.
to check
He's
the
been hurt. Yeah.
stats. So where is the outcry about the coaching staff, the general manager, the players? Sidney Crosby's playing the best hockey he's played in a decade. He's on pace to score 50 goals this year.
Yeah.
And it's being wasted because the Penguins aren't going to make the playoffs. And what do we got to do then? Next up, I applaud the Pittsburgh Steelers for taking the ammunition away from people to constantly lambaste the Steelers over the next. Mike Tomlin's going to be back next year, and I think it's the right decision to make. The entire offensive coaching staff is being replaced. And I've said this weeks ago that I felt that this was the right thing for the Steelers to do. Tomlin, keep his job. You got to completely revamp the offensive coaching staff.
And the playbook.
We don't know. Well, you don't know what the playbook's going to be.
No, but it should be a new one.
Because you don't have an offensive coordinator yet. He's the one that's going to write the book.
No, but we've stayed with candidates. That's
right.
my point.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm with
That's
you.
why the 2 guys that implemented his plays in the last 4 games are gone. See? So, Tomlin's going to get an extension, deservedly so. I know there's a lot of people that don't think so, but I'm really going to giggle a little bit when he does get extended for all the people that whine and cry and complain about him, because he can keep whining, crying, and complaining. It's not going to change anything. Will the Steelers, Mike Tomlin said the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, he believes they're on the roster right now. I don't necessarily believe there was much truth in that. I know that he had to say that to keep the people that he has engaged. But who's going to be the quarterback for the Steelers next year? I have no idea. I think it should be an open competition. I know the one person it's not going to be, and that's Mitch Trubisky, okay? Because by getting rid of him, they're going to save $11 million in cap space, which they desperately need.
Yeah.
Are they going to bring in somebody from the outside? They should. Or are they going to draft somebody? They need to. They need offensive line help. They need wide receiver help. And this is supposed to be a deep draft with offensive linemen and wide receivers this year.
Right.
So that's, what they definitely need to do to bolster it. I've heard people complain about the Steelers defense, highest paid defense in football, and look at the way they performed. Well, think about this for a minute. The Steelers were a top 10 defense in fewest points given up this year. Now, why did the Steelers defense not perform in every other category so well? Well, maybe because the offense was out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and the defense spent more time on the field. If they would have had an offense that could control the ball the way they did the last 4 games, maybe the defensive statistics would have been better. But isn't the point of playing defense preventing your opponent from scoring points?
Good point.
Last but not least, Pirates made a move yesterday. They signed Aroldis Chapman. Now, Aroldis Chapman makes a lot of sense to bring him on to the Pirates roster. And the reason being, every major league team needs pitching. Nick's a baseball guy. He knows this. There's no question about it.
I know too.
Well, I know some other things teams need too, but Chip's going to get mad if I mention those.
Well, and we'll debate that at some
Ding,
point.
ding.
Then Nick, we'll debate it.
We'll put the
at some
bell
point.
up. Ding, ding.
But the Pirates need starting pitching. So does 90% of the teams in Major League Baseball. But I can tell you this, having a strong bullpen is going to do much more for the Pirates than the strength of their starting pitcher, because starting pitchers anymore are only lasting 3 or 4 innings. So the majority of games that you're going to win over the course of the year is going to be won by your bullpen. Chapman would be a perfect setup man, 7th, 8th inning guy to get you to Bednar, and then maybe you don't have to overwork Bednar in the early part of the season, so he's available later in the season. And, the Pirates this year, I'm excited about the Pirates season. What kind of team are we going to have? I expect it to be better than last year, but there's some huge question marks.
I got one.
Is O'Neal Cruz going to be everything that people claim that he's going to be? For me, he has to produce it on the field before he gets anointed. Will Henry Davis become a major league catcher? We do not know, because Endy Rodriguez is out for the season.
Yeah.
Jason DeLay is, a good catcher to start every 4th or 5th day. To give your starter, is somebody else going to be brought in? We don't know this. Are the Pirates going to bring in another starter? We don't know this. There are a lot of unknowns about what's going on, but I do believe that the core group of the players that are coming back from last year will perform well enough for the Pirates to be something worth watching this year.
Chip, I only got one discussion. There's 5 starting pitchers. Who are they?
We don't know the answer to that question
And
right
that's the impediment I
Okay,
have.
I mean, I can tell you
Losing,
one.
no, but I don't want to even hear it. But my
Mitch
thing
Keller.
is, I understand, but we don't know which Mitch Keller will show up.
Well,
We've seen that, and I'm just being honest.
No,
my
it's
thing
fair
is,
enough.
Yeah, and we only lost 84 last year. So it gives us hope. But my thing is, being pitchers like we were, you need starting pitchers to
And we've
do
got-
that. And last year we didn't have it.
We've got a
And
lot
look
of
what
young,
we did. I'm just saying there
we've
were
got a
good
lot
signs.
of young guys that have some promise, but they haven't produced on the major league level, so we don't know. Now, I know the next thing that's going to get beat like a drum.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens should be on the starting roster. He should pitch opening day. And I think that would be the hugest mistake that the Pittsburgh Pirates could make. And the reason being, here's a guy who dominated in college baseball last year. Okay, #1 draft pick. Pirates were smart in taking him. He, most of the people that he pitched against last year, never going to see an at-bat in the major leagues. Okay, and he completely dominated. He has never, in his entire career, pitched consistently every 5th day, and that is something that they have to work him into. And I don't know if he'll be ready by the opening game of the season. How much sense would it make to put him on the mound in the opener and have his arm blown out by May or June?
I'm not going to debate, but I have a couple points.
Please.
Over the years, we've had as young as a 16-year-old pitcher come up. We've had 18-year-olds come up, and they only pitched like basically sandlot baseball like we did. They came up and did it against major leaguers, and you only had a select group. Now it's watered down with all the teams. My thing is, bring up all the scouts were saying he's major league ready, so I question the scouts. What do you mean by that, Chip?
Well,
When they tell you he's major league ready, and then like my thing is, I'd bring him up not in April, but I'd bring him up in May for a game or 2 Like my thing is, okay, he's number one. Let's see how much he has coming in for 3 innings.
What I want to do is I want to work
That's
him to
all
a
I
point
wanna see.
where I can put him on the mound and I can count on him for 32 starts every year. I think if you put him out there without getting him to a position where he's used to getting into the routine that he needs to be in as a major league pitcher, which he's never been exposed to, you know, you're going to ruin him, and that's something that you need to work towards.
What has Waiting ever gotten the Pirates?
Well, here's
Let's
what,
just remember that.
I'll
What
talk
is
about
what?
waiting.
What has Waiting ever gotten the Pirates? We've been waiting for a World Series since '79, and I wasn't born until '98.
Okay.
I'm tired of waiting.
Right? And you know what? Be patient.
Well, here's my thing. Look at the NFL. If a quarterback comes up, they played pro-style lineups in college, and they don't do well, you go, he's done. Before, it took 3 to 5 years to have a college quarterback. Smoking Jim will do it. We had to learn to wait, young puppy. So we're going back to old school because everybody's told growing up, this new generation, my generation's at fault. Add a boy, add a girl. You struck out, add a girl. Struck out for a boy, add a boy. Guess what? They get to high school, they're crying.
Hey, Alan, you made a comment that they said that the scouts have said that he's major league
Yeah.
ready. You know what else the scouts have said?
No, I know you're.
They-
That's
they-
why I
they-
put it
they
on.
said, they said that Kenny Pickett was NFL ready starting quarterback.
I'm on the record.
Were they
Check
right
the
or were they wrong?
check the film. What I was saying when they drafted him, not to. What you had said. He had 24 games. We'll go to football. He's the worst in NFL history with 24 games and 13 TDs. And he's going to be our starting quarterback. We'll digress again to baseball. I just want 5 starting pitchers. I don't care whether they're ready or not. Skeens, I say, bring him in a game or 2 in May. And if he showed some promise, say he struck
And
out 2 guys.
It has nothing to do with Super 2. It has nothing to do with Super 2.
Oh, I understand.
You know what I mean? I just
But I say
I want to
let the
see him.
people here see that you have to wait.
Because look what happened with Garrett Cole. Everybody was screaming, bring him up, bring him up, bring him up, and the Pirates held off bringing him up until June or July. And then he came in. He was able to compete, and he was
What
ready.
do you think I'm bringing up?
He was ready to pitch in the major leagues, and look what he's done since.
Well, he had a whole year, too. He was drafted in 2011, so that's a bit of a different example. But
And he was the number 1 pick.
think about if they could have won the division bringing him up earlier, since they were speculating.
Well, I mean, and that's just trying to say, like if the,
Wandy
if
Rodriguez
the
was
doors
still-
to the barn weren't open, the horse would have never gone away.
You know what? I remember that. I remember that saying. Yeah, that's true. Well, all these things are true, but as true sports fans, aren't we always optimistic except for Smoking Jim? No offense meant, because he's negative.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to judge the Pirates based on the mistakes that the last regime had, and you know what? I'm willing to let
The
them.
last regime was 5 years ago.
Right, and what did they do since then? They blew it up. And here's what everybody yelled for: we need to burn it down to the ground, take it down to the foundation, and rebuild it. And then they did that, and then you know what happened? They started getting criticized for doing it. And then now that they're starting to bear fruit, and it looks like they're starting to build a team. Why do you think Andrew McCutchen is here playing in Pittsburgh for this year?
I think the Pirates were more criticized for winning 20-some games in April and then not making the playoffs.
20-8.
But if you remember,
It wasn't great.
You may not. You were very young at the time, but when McCutchen and Neil Walker and all them came up,
I was in high school. What do you mean very young?
That is young
That is
compared
very
to
young.
us.
Very young?
very young.
I wasn't 3. I was 14. I remember those
that
runs very
14
well.
Nick,
I went to
I'm
games.
63. 14 is very young. Okay, I'm not saying that to criticize you, but I mean in
He's
2011,
dealing with age numbers. That's
2011
critical.
and 2012, 2010 was an atrocious year to be a Pirate fan. I sat through 35 games that year, and it was painful. 2011, Pirates started showing signs of promise, contended up until about June, then they completely collapsed. 2012, they did a little bit better, looked like they were going to contend, then the wheels fell off the bus. Do you see what I mean? This is all part of the growth process. How do you learn to win? Is by losing. So they started winning, they had success, they started losing, then they came back. They were 35-32 over the last 67 games last year. I think this team.
Nobody even mentions that.
I think this team is heading in the right direction. Are they going to reach their destination this year? Well, let's just look at it this way.
Oh.
Arizona Diamondbacks went to the World Series, and they only won 86 games last year. We won 8 games. We won 8 games less than they did last year. You know what? Do I have a crystal ball? No. You know what?
All
They're going
right.
to make some noise.
We're going to call timeout. We're going to move on. We got to give some credit to people watching. George Malerbo, my old-time buddy from the Press and Post-Gazette, Ronald Cortez, Ty Polk's watching. We may need you next week, Ty. Stephanie Hayner's tuning in.
Nice.
You got to hear Chipper talk. Curtis Sears is watching. Ann Harder, you are right, Chip, on the Pens. Chuck Chief McElroy, Pirates must spend some dollars to be competitive. I am just surprised that Nutting opened his wallet. Understood. We all were. Tony Santucci's watching. Our friend Pete Kasich's watching. Peggy Rohde said, hello, Al, enjoying the show from Rochester. Everybody doing a great job. Thanks, Nick and Peggy, the best fans we have in Rochester. Adalu Asolo, Tom Malesic, I think he's related to Chip.
Tom is my brother from
Brother-in-law.
another mother.
Yeah, Carol Pizzo, hello, Carol, friend of mine. And Chief brings up 45 years of rebuilding with the Pirates. Well, we
Yes.
understand that.
Yes.
We understand that. All right. Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
We'll get to the Pirates a little bit. I got a lot of things to say about them. Let's start with this as well. If you haven't noticed, we've been doing live basketball games from Bethel Park High School live on BPTV, so we're excited to talk about that. We got some members of Blackhawk TV helping us do the production from the school, and then we carry the games. Next week we'll be doing a game, so Sportsline's going to be a little earlier, and you'll check Facebook for those announcements. as you watch.
6:25. That's my show. I got to announce it. We're moving up an hour so the high school kids and BPTV can show this to all of you.
Yeah.
So
So
watch the show.
What's the record?
which team?
The boys.
They're winning. Oh, it's a winning record. I forget exactly.
The answer is you don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't pay attention. I produce the games, but
I love the band. I love the band.
that's very kind of you. But yeah, so because the game starts at 7:30, we don't want to cut Sportsline short, so we'll just give it an extra hour, a half hour beforehand. It will still be live streaming everywhere, so that's good.
6:25 to 7:25. No matter what Nick says, it's my show. We'll be in early to let him do his thing on the basketball court.
So
And we're proud and honored that we're collaborating with the high school students.
yeah, it's very good. So I'd also like to announce too that BPTV is on an app now. Cablecast, it's all one word, Cablecast. So if you search that in the App Store or in Google Play or Smoking, you can just use the internet, I guess, or not at all. But it's real simple for anybody if you're not smoking Jim. Just Cablecast. If you download
Hold
the
it.
app,
This is a segue in. Director Dave Cable just tuned into the show.
Oh.
Look at how he segued Cablecast. Dave Cable's watching. Thanks for watching.
that was great
Dave.
timing. But yeah, so we
Couldn't
got
have been better. You two scripted this.
So we have an app now. So if you want to use like your
Hold
casting
it. What's
devices
this
for
app
the shows.
thing?
So yeah, so if if you want to cast to smart devices on any smart TV or smartphone that you have, if you download the app to your TV or your phone or any other smart device,
Where do we get the app?
The App Store, or the Google Play Store. So if you go
Gotta
there,
guide these people.
search for again Cablecast. You go there. BPTV will show up as long as you're in the area. If not, you'll have to search for Bethel Park Public Access. But
Thank
once
you
do
for
that,
explaining it.
all of our shows are
Some of
there.
us need help.
And they're archived. So whenever Sportsline's done here, it'll be archived like it is every week on the website. But now, again, it's an app. So apps are easier to use and they integrate with all of your technology. So
I'm glad you discovered that.
yeah,
Thanks,
so,
guys.
So that's good. So that's big. So watch Sportsline. Watch any of our other shows. BPTV's great, right? Yes. So now
I
sports.
concur.
Sports related. This is probably the last time I'll talk about the Steelers in a while, because Mike Tomlin had his press conference on Thursday, and I'm disappointed. It's awesome that he wants to be lighthearted with everybody now and be real wholesome, and that's a great PR move. But he's still really arrogant a lot, and I can't forget about that when I listen to him try to apologize for his mistakes. I mean, I don't even care that he walked out. I mean, it's fine. Like, Brooke Pryor annoys him, and that's obvious, and it's great that he kind of backpedaled and apologized and then expressed his feelings, which is awesome. Not a fan of that necessarily that approach specifically there, though, because the arrogance that he displayed throughout the season, I don't believe is forgivable, especially with how they've performed. Like, when they were winning, he's arrogant, and then when they're not winning, he won't answer questions, and it's the nature of the business. That's fine. I'm more about some of the maybe more transparency, or just the flat out, like the Bill Belichick approach, which is just very flat, or the Dan Campbell approach where you just yell a lot and you're surrounded by your team and it looks fun. What Mike Tomlin's doing is just arrogant, and that annoys me to no end because they're not getting results, and on top of that, he's acting on top of the world when I don't really think he is. So that's kind of what I took away from that. On top of, we're going to look for outside candidates for our offensive coordinator job, and nothing's going to change from the quarterback perspective from the start of last season, which means Pickett's going to be favored to start again, and they've made no indication that they're going to go into the draft for a quarterback, which upsets me as well. So very little minimal changes, mystery offensive coordinator, and I'm sorry for the way I reacted. Please forgive me for the entire season. That's kind of what I took from that.
You mean you read between the lines or something?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just...
I didn't get it that way. I thought he's still the same.
Chip talking about baseball actually made me very happy, because now I'm being reminded that we're going to be able to talk about baseball here pretty soon. You guys know I'm not a huge hockey guy. As the Penguins progress toward maybe the playoffs, we'll
get the puck out of here. It's not happening this year. No, we need a puck.
But I'm excited to talk about the Pirates, and really, my feelings for Paul Skeens come in because, again, I've never seen a World Series. You know that. I've said that way too much. And I feel like mixing it up and trying something different could help the team. Now, it could hurt the team, but, like, what they've been doing recently isn't great. I'd like to see some winning. And, I mean, the Pirates are the last hope at this point, if you really think about it. Unless the Steelers make significant changes going into next season, we're going to look at mediocrity again. And
Thanks
that's just
for
going to be
stealing my word.
And that's why I'm probably, until the draft comes, the NFL draft comes in April, I'm not really going to talk about the Steelers much on this show unless they sign or trade for Patrick Mahomes or something stupid like that.
What about Justin Fields?
Maybe that. Something significant would have to happen.
Well, they're going to get Caleb Williams, so
Oh, well, yeah.
that'll open up that possibility. So
He's already said he doesn't want to play for Chicago.
Well,
understand.
that's an interesting development. But you
Peyton
get my
did
point.
that, and what?
So did Eli.
Yeah.
The Pirates seem to be the last hope for Pittsburgh right now. They've got a lot of promise, and I'm going to dive
We're
into-
going to quote this for the whole year in 2024.
I'll dive into Chapman.
It's in here.
I'll dive into Chapman more during VIP time, but the bottom line there is like they're the last hope. So let's use the talent we have. And if Paul Skeens is the talent and he develops well enough in the minors early on, maybe he shouldn't start opening day, but like he should be here this season. I'd say by May I'm going to be happy. So like let that be the bar, because Pirates are the last hope. That's what's on my mind.
Thanks. Brandy, Michael's mother has what is the name of the app again? Downloading now.
Cablecast. So like cable and then cast, C-A-S-T, but it's just one word.
All right, she's downloading now.
Thank you.
Jane Leffler said, I enjoy your show. Thank you. Let's see who else. All right, I think we're up to date with everybody.
Smoking, what do you want?
Just an update. Bethel Park lost the last 3 games, and tonight they played 12-3 Mount Lebanon, so we can pencil in 4 in a row.
And there you have negative smoking Jim Frazier.
That's very
All
good.
right, Joe Amadio's watching. Thank you
it's
very
my
much.
friend.
All right.
Childhood friend, Joe. I like Joe.
Thanks for having one of your friends tune in.
I
We
still-
appreciate you.
I pulled a smoke, and I still owe him some money. I haven't paid him back from Christmas yet.
You had a good mentor. You had a great mentor.
Nick, I could say something, but I'm not going to because it'll open up a can of worms that I don't think we want to open up on air.
All right, we don't need that. We're going to move on. Hey, Al, what's on your mind? Well, I've been a Penguin fan since '67 when I was 11 years old. Would go down there, pay a couple dollars for a ticket. We'd play with our rubber ball outside with sticks. Great memories. I'm thinking they're reverting back to when they first become a franchise. We're not doing that well. We show some brilliance. We have some good players. You have the MVP this year is getting no respect. Sidney Crosby plays 200 feet. Look at what he's done.
He's not getting any respect from his own teammates.
Well, I understand that. And the core thing is, I don't care Dubas coming in, how great he is or whatever. We kept a core group of 18 years. Hey, I love nostalgia. I like reminiscing. But how do you play 18 years together and then that's your whole team? Like if you want to critique them, Chip, they're actually doing pretty well, except for the last game with Letang and Malkin and, whatever. And Carlson, they made a trade for him. But if you notice on our power play,
Power play?
they have a power play where guys are in certain spots. And they don't move, they don't take Malkin off the power play, and he wants to stay on the right, and he gives the puck away or makes a bad pass or causes a penalty. So they haven't changed their power play, even though they got a superstar came in. They don't use them properly, so who takes the blame? Well, they learned from the Steelers, because Penguins and Steelers are about the same. Steelers coach their way, and they say that's their way because they haven't lost in 17 years. I appreciate it. Penguins haven't won for 5 years.
6.
Okay, 6 count, yeah. And that's what they've been the whole time. They don't have a bottom 6 that helps out. And if you know hockey, you need 4 good lines or at least 2 better lines and the others that help once in a while. We don't have that. And I don't want to break it all down. Jari's leading the league in shutouts with 5, yet he gets pulled out of games after a first or second period. Then he gets put into some games and saves a game. So he's very erratic and not consistent when we have a team that isn't consistent. We lost, 4 out of 5 now?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, so, we're on the downside of it.
And we're not. And if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, they wouldn't be in.
Right, we're not in it. Then you have Jake Gensel, great guy, but he's turning 30, needs a new contract. If they trade him and got a couple players, I'd actually be happy with that and let him go and do well somewhere else. I know Sid will be crying and be disappointed since they click so well, but we do need changes. We need changes with the Steelers. I'll digress with that. Open door, Moore has to go down. Cole, here's the hole. Lets him in. That's all I see with the offensive line, so they need help. They have a giant Broderick Jones, who the last 8-9 games they had a running game. Put him on his natural position, the left side. Tomlin is stubborn like all of us here. He keeps him on the right side because he doesn't want to be wrong.
But they don't have anybody else to play right tackle.
Just take Moore off of the left tackle and put him right tackle. Well, just do that as a coach. I know you love Tomlin,
that simplifies but I'm saying, things, but if he can't play left tackle, I'm absolutely certain he can't play right tackle.
Well, guess what? I'd rather have Broderick Jones protecting Kenny. I can't look the left side of the field because of open door Moore. He could at least see the whole field.
You mean Kenny, I can't stay in the pocket?
Exactly, and I always turn left, yeah, and gets, knocked out or whatever. But I would rather see that open up by having a giant there protecting the left side, which they say in football, the scout knows that's critical. He'll shake his head till it falls off.
They need to get some more of them offensive linemen for Georgia.
Well, you're preaching to the choir. I've been saying, look at Kansas City's center.
Georgia got another good
We could have drafted Humphrey.
We
could have drafted Humphrey instead of Freiermuth, and we would have had an all-pro center. I wouldn't be talking like, here's the whole Cole. So we're going to move on to Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac in 10 seconds with the young director crew.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And who's the only one on the planet that on draft day guaranteed that Dan Moore will be the left tackle? And I'm gonna say it again. Next year, Dan Moore will be the left tackle again. And to you.
But is that the best for the team?
Pardon me?
Is that the best for the team?
He just likes being right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Chip challenged me 2 weeks ago, so I just want to go over. Make sure we got the right grades. Instead of starting with the 2023, I'll just go real quickly 2022, and we'll see. Since 2023 was so young, I'll do that as well. They drafted a quarterback in the 7th round over Brock Purdy. That's an F. Mark Robinson ain't too bad. Connor Hayward is a 3rd-string tight end. They didn't have a 5th-round pick in 2022, so that's an F. Kelvin Austin's pretty much a bust. I told everybody that the Marvin Leal could not play in the National Football League. They reached for him in the 3rd round. He don't even get a helmet. George Pickens, half the year I gave him an A, half the year I gave him an F. But he's a freak in nature. I said he could never play for me, but it seems like he could play here. Kenny Pickett.
What team do you
undecided.
coach?
So
What team are you a coach of?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
That's a D. I think everybody will agree.
No.
Now where Chip challenged me is on the 2023 draft. Let me go over this real quick. They drafted a fat lineman out of Maryland. That never worked. Spencer Anderson in the 7th round. And so that's an F. Corey Trice from Wake Forest, who was always hurt at Wake Forest and was on the injured reserve after the first practice. That's an F. They didn't have a 6th or 5th round pick. Now, Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, that's just some of the names in the 6th round. George Kittle, Tyreek Hill, some of the names in the 5th round, so you have to give that an F. I love Nick Herbig. They drafted Nick Herbig in the 1st round, but your 2 highest paid players are your outside linebackers, and they're both young. You got a light-skinned guy with freckles that only have 7 sacks, that only gets one-on-one blocking. I think Herbert is better than him, but you cannot draft an outside linebacker when you're paying 2 young outside linebackers. So that was a wasted pick in the 4th round. 3rd round, Darnell Washington, I don't know what he is. Is he a tackle? Is he a tight end?
Still a tight end.
I like him. I think he got good enough hands. I think he can come on, but
You think he's like Larry Brown?
Maybe you ought to go and see Lester Hayes. Get some stick 'em for the day.
Yeah.
That's it. He catches pretty good. Now, Keonta Benton, I thought he had skates on in the 2nd half of the season. They was driving that boy. The last couple of games, they ain't playing him at all. They was driving. I ain't never seen a 95 for the Steelers get driven like that. So that's a bust. Joey Porter led the NFL in penalties with 15.
What else did he lead the NFL
One
in?
career interception.
What else did he
At
lead the
Penn
NFL?
State, 1 career interception here at the Steelers. I say he's a free safety. Only contact he ever seen was in Buffalo. He left the game. He refused to come back in. So I'll give you that.
What else did he lead the NFL in?
I'm grabbing and holding and clutching. Broderick Jones. You moved up in the draft to get a left tackle. I told everybody on the planet I'm the only one. All your experts came on TV, on your radio station. I said, they're going against me. You don't go against me. I said,
Who are you?
I said, Dan Moore would never play anything but left tackle. And next year going into camp, he'll be the left tackle and Broderick will be the right. I gave that draft a D, and it looks like a D-. And that's what's on my mind.
Thanks.
You're the only person that can give the same grade every time, but I'm
It's
still
the truth.
I'm still interested in what you said.
I gotta give
I
it.
know the end, but
I got it.
I know
The 87 draft
I know
got an A.
I know the ending, but I
The
still want to watch
74
the
draft
movie.
got an A.
How can you give a grade to something that doesn't exist?
Don't answer it. I mean, you're good.
Okay?
You're
All
not
right.
wrong.
Smoking Jim.
Johnny agrees with
Hold
me.
it. Smoking Jim, this is for you. Ann Harder, why do you hate Bethel Park, Jim?
I love Bethel Park.
See, he lies.
I love Bethel Park.
He lies.
That's the
They
public.
beat Gateway in the WPIL championship at Heinz
Hold
Field,
it.
the best team Gateway ever had.
No, here's your
They had all academic All-Americans on that Bethel Park
here's
team.
your-
Are you saying?
They outsmarted Gateway.
Are you-
Everybody on their team, all their stars had a 4.0 or better.
Are you trying-
They was all geniuses. Everything Gateway tried to run.
Are you trying to say that Gateway's best wasn't good enough?
They beat a great
Well,
Gateway team.
let me-
Gateway had All-Americans all over
And
the
I'm
field.
trying to interrupt.
It was the biggest upset in WPIL
And
history.
I'm trying to
I'll
interrupt
never
Smoking
forgive 'em
Jim.
for that.
Who is your best friend from Bethel Park?
Armin the Hammer Gilliam.
And what did he play?
He played basketball and ran track.
And you were friends with him.
But my best friend,
So,
matter of fact, he
and-
introduced me to a beautiful school teacher out of Philadelphia. But all she had on her mind was the hammer.
Oh, we got to disclaim that.
I mean, he's 6'9". I
We got-
couldn't measure up.
We got to disclaim all this stuff.
Boy, are we running out of time? or
We're
what?
gonna have to delete this. This is outrageous. We gotta shout out to a few more people. Keep Smoking Jim Quiet, Ed Marchese. Thanks for watching. Dennis Melhome, Phil Kilpatrick, Kirk Gott, Clyde Johnson, Mitchell Brown. Thanks for all watching. Eric Shearer, Robert Perez, Mark Pendergrass, Ibram Lala, Lynn Darden, Brenda Franklin, our friend. She's watching us smoking. You know the chef, Brenda.
Oh, yeah.
Terrence Linear, thanks for watching. Planga Live. Blaine Nalder, Enrique Hernandez, Martin Orlano, William Taylor. All these names are popping up because Nick is sharing our show where?
On BPTV's Facebook
Jared
as well.
Simmons,
Follow it.
Marcelin MacArthur. Chief says if smoking was grading me, I'd be in the 5th grade. Irie Man Macca, that was good, Chief. Garolo, Dorsis, Gag, Zigzag, Nillen Sr. Wow, James Brenson, a foreign name. Ann Harder said smarter. I'm not sure what that's to because we've had nonsense. Arthur Ward. Mark, you know what? There's a few more. We're going to have to move on. We're down to 7 minutes. We got to go to trivia time with Chip.
Well, everybody, I'm going to make this quick and concise. I want to hear what Nick has to say. A record happened over the weekend, an all-time record. The all-time winningest coach in Division I NCAA basketball was supplanted. Tara Vandermeer, who is the women's basketball coach for Stanford University, has won 1,203 games. She passed up Mike Krzyzewski.
Coach K.
Well done, Tara. 70 years old. She's only won 3 championships over the course of her career. But 1,200 games, that's significant.
Quite an accomplishment.
The last thing I want to talk about, I hear all these talks about who's going to be Defensive Player of the Year this year. Hands down, without any question of a doubt, it should be T.J. Watt.
Thank you.
But listening to what Peter King said today and all of these, pardon my language, horse crap analytics from PFF, who I do not think is a credible source of information, is going to have Myles Garrett elected as the Defensive Player of the Year. Now, granted, he may have anchored the #1 defense in the league, but the last 6 games of the year, he didn't even have a sack, and his statistics matched exactly T.J. Watt's in the playoffs. Think about that one. T.J. Watt was on the bench.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks, Chip Hayner. We're going to Nick VIP Callis right now, and I defer to you. You can give me the last minute or so because we don't really have on location happen.
I'll make it quick. Let's do it. All right, first thing I wanted to mention, too, I just saw news of this before this show. Joe Mauer and Adrian Beltre are among a few elected into the Hall of Fame this year, and I'm happy about that. I grew up watching Joe Mauer, and I always respected him as a player, and Adrian Beltre is a funny guy and very talented. So congratulations to them. Now, Aroldis Chapman on the Pirates. What can that do for the Pirates? Well, it bolsters their team a bit if you look at Chapman on a plane. I mean, he used to throw 105 miles an hour. He's still consistently throwing in the high 90s. He throws left-handed.
100.
He throws left-handed. He has kind of a weird thing going on that kind of helps him out. He's refined his slider over time. Like everything, there are some good things to look at on its face. What may not be so appealing is that he got frustrated with the Yankees and walked out on them before he signed with the Royals, and the Royals didn't keep him very long. They traded him midway through the season to the Texas Rangers, who won the World Series. Could the Pirates be one of those teams that are going to trade him at the deadline? I hope not. I hope he's a consistent piece. He can be a consistent piece. But just because he won the World Series with the Rangers doesn't mean that we should all ignore what ended up happening to get him there. You got to put him in the right position. He's not going to be the guy. Now, it is true that Legensky is developing. Colin Holderman's been an established piece. There are a lot of good parts of the back end of the bullpen where you might not need to rely on Chapman, and that's what makes him a good piece. Now, spending $10.5 million on him shows that money is being spent. But he's getting on the wrong side of 30 now, which isn't great. So I have my concerns about that. And then again, I don't want to be one of those guys that complains all the time too, because you ask them to spend money. Who do you spend money on? That's the thing. Chip brings that up. The Mets and the Padres spent a lot of money and they didn't do anything. I hold that opinion. I would argue though that those two teams were more exciting based on the players that they spent money on, and it made their seasons disappointing because they had something the Pirates have not in a while, which are expectations. But with that being said, it's a fine deal. I want to see maybe one more big splash, whether that's the starting rotation. Unless they bring Skeens up, then it'll be fine. Other than that, maybe another first base piece that's a little better. Maybe another outfield piece that could really solidify their lineup. This is exciting, and this is going to make the news cycle for the week, and then it's going to be back to, okay, what else? They need to build in other areas of the team. And until they do that, I'm still going to be a little iffy about them because, again, as I said before, they're the last hope for Pittsburgh, or else all the teams are going to be terrible, and I'm not going to be happy about that.
And just real quick on the spending money, we all look at what are the Pirates spending in the major league level as the only place that the Pirates spend money. And they've been in the Dominican Republic, and they've spent quite a bit of money on a lot of highly rated prospects in the International League, and some of that money, I bet you they spent 10 or 12 million just in bonuses for people that are going to go into the pipeline who could ultimately end up on the major league roster.
Good point.
That's too hard to think about.
No, that's investing money in your team.
It's like putting $1.
I know what it is, but who wants to think about that?
Did you ever save
it's
any
part of
money
the
in
big
your life?
picture. You have to look.
Who wants to think about development?
Nick,
You got to
you got to
start
look
with
big
the first
picture,
dollar.
buddy. Big picture.
All right. He needs investing 101. A penny a day, you multiplied each day in a month, you got $1 billion.
Get out of here! I know what investing is. I understand what he's saying.
See how the truth comes out?
Hey, he's got
We're
a
going
sixth
to
grade
On
education.
Location.
Don't worry, you'll get a lot in. Go.
All right. The only on location I have is I'm honored and blessed to say Coliseum Combat Zone. I'm a MMA promoter now. Our first event is June 29th. It's the day before my official birthday, Smoking Jim, June 30th. I don't have two birthdays. We're at the All-American Fieldhouse, 1 Racket Lane, Monroeville, 15146, near Smoking Jim, wherever he lives. We don't know. It'll be 5 o'clock, doors open up. Check us out. Tickets will be up. Please stay Joey strong.